like I said at the onset, the debate is it a shortage of blanks and refinery capability, or is it a shortage of silver? And I think ultimately both roads lead to the same place, and that is a shortage of silver.
Well, the main reason why I wanted to check in with you is I've been watching these paper price smashes pretty regularly, and I think a lot of people are wondering, when is this ever going to end? But in the meantime, what's going on with the physical silver buying while this is happening? Can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, the debate, Yara, is whether there's a silver shortage or a shortage of refined silver. And, either way, they both lead to the same place. The demand is off the charts. Silver Eagles, as an example, right now are, I believe, $13 in that neighborhood over the price of silver. Just about every sovereign coin across the board, UK, Australia, Austria, South Africa, are delayed anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks and chasing premiums between $5 and $7 over spot. This is pretty much as high as I've ever seen them. It rivals what we saw in March, April of 2020 in terms of premium above melt value. We are really, really close to as high as I've ever seen in 32 years of business.
And so with that's interesting to know. And with the delays that you're seeing from the sovereign mints, do you think that you can count on those delivery dates, or are they seeming like they might be a moving target?
Well, we'll talk about the U.S. Mint as being a little bit different in a second. But, yeah, it is a moving target because, much like the supply chain issues that everyone is facing in the States, trying to buy anything from a refrigerator to any consumables or durable goods that you buy in your home, the delays are extraordinary. We were looking to buy a refrigerator the other day, and we're told it's almost a year for the one that we want. So you're seeing supply chain disruptions everywhere, and it's, gold and silver are not immune to those disruptions as well. So not only do you have the supply chain disruptions, you have the inefficiency of the mints that give us a date. We assume, we hope that those dates are accurate, but by and large, they have had a degree of variance over the past year or so where 1 week can turn into 3 weeks can turn into 1. Sometimes we're surprised. Most of the time we try to err on the side of telling people it's going to be a little bit longer and then try to over-deliver rather than to promise them they'll be there soon, because really we're at the mercy of a whole chain of distribution, from shipping across the Atlantic, if it's coming from any of the European mints, to getting through customs in some sort of an orderly fashion, to finding trucking that gets it to the vault in a timely fashion. And all of those things have the potential for some sort of a disruption. And adding into it record demand, purchasing things, locking things in for people when we're still 2 weeks out. So by the time the stuff gets in, it's already pre-sold and gone, and the cycle starts all over again. So it's really kind of crazy right now. It's very arduous trying to keep track of everything and keep it going. But yeah, I've been saying this for a long time, and I think that it will define the market. Let's look at the Silver Eagle market for a second. As one of only 24 U.S. mint distributors, I get information from the top, and we're able to secure Silver Eagles as much as humanly possible. The problem with the Silver Eagles is that, according to the law, the U.S. Mint is not allowed to pay more than the average price of the world average price of silver. So I guess that would take into account COMEX and the London Metals Exchange. They're not allowed to talk to a distributor. They have to source their blanks from a U.S.-based distributor like Sunshine. But they can't say to Sunshine, hey, we have so much demand. I know you guys do too. We'll pay you $1 extra per blank. They can't do that. They have to go to the Treasury Secretary to get that approved, and I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. So what's happening is that the U.S. Mint claims they can't get blanks. In reality, no one wants to sell them blanks at spot. And by law, they're not allowed to pay over spot. So you have a situation where the mint says we can't get blanks because the spot price is really not reflective of what a true ounce of silver is, and companies that make it would rather make their own Buffalo rounds and sell them for $3 or $4 over than sell it to the U.S. Mint at spot. So the law of unintended consequences, when the commercial banks push the price down, this is what happens.
Sounds like a bit of a silver pickle. So, well,
yes, I would say.
What is, in your opinion, the thing that people should, or I guess should isn't the right word because everybody's got unique situations, but what do you think is the best thing for people to be purchasing right now, knowing that some of these premiums are so high and that it's hard to get stuff from the sovereign mints right now?
You know, I've always loved coins, and when I first met you, Yara, and Chris, we had the luxury of being able to pick and choose, and Chris has always loved, coins and different ones and unique ones. Those days are gone. You can't really buy much of anything in terms of diversity, in terms of selection. You're going to be waiting for the sovereign mint coins, Maples, Britannias, Kangaroos, Krugerrands, anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks for the most part. There are odds and ends, and there is some, but there's not enough to really say that there's good flush supply. And when you do, you're paying these high premiums. The Eagles at $13, $14 is extraordinarily high. I wouldn't buy them myself at this point. I would buy silver bars, kilo bars, 100-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars. I think in the end, it's about the number of ounces that you own. And without being penny wise and pound foolish, you could buy 1,000-ounce bars, but they're so difficult to lug around and to, they're not very divisible. So a kilo, a 10, a 100-ounce bar right now, the premiums are not egregious. The supply is better than the sovereign coins, and that's what I would do. Right now we have a special on Asahi 100-ounce silver bars. They're in stock. They're $3.75 over the price of silver. To me, that's a better value than paying, in essence, $10, $11 more per ounce for a silver eagle. So on 1,000 ounces, you're talking $11,000 more for the same amount of silver. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. If people did want to buy rounds, what are average round prices and as far as the premiums are going on that? Are they, over $5 or $4.50?
Yeah, they're about $4.50. And to give people a reference, most of my career silver rounds would have been 99 cents to $1.29 over. Now they're $4.50. Silver eagles would have been $3.69 over. Now they're 13 or 14 over. Maple leafs would have been $2.89 over. Now they're 7.5 or so over. So everything is rising, and like I said at the onset, the debate is it a shortage of blanks and refinery capability, or is it a shortage of silver? And I think ultimately both roads lead to the same place, and that is a shortage of silver. Whether it's refining capability or not, the demand is greatly overwhelming the supply that we have right now. And, it's been this way for 2 years. You would think if the mints and the refineries were interested in making money, when you think about it, in terms of the U.S. government, the mint is one of the only things that actually makes money. You would think they would try to do all they could to ramp up supply and operations to meet demand. It's not only that, it's law. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that we'll see premiums continue to rise.
Well, I think, all of the indicators that you're seeing, I don't know how you would come to another conclusion, but I'm grateful to have your insight as far as, finding out exactly what is going on the back side of these silver transactions. And if people did want to get silver at these low spot prices, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting it at a low physical silver price, and that has to do with real world situations. And so that's the real price of silver, it seems to me, right?
Yeah, to me, one of the things that people need to focus on is that when you look at what Trudeau did, when you look at Russia being kicked out of the SWIFT system, when you see countries like Nigeria and Venezuela signing contracts to sell oil for yuan, when you see Saudi Arabia negotiating with China to sell oil for yuan, and all of these yuan-denominated transactions are convertible into gold on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, it's all one thing. It's de-dollarization, and it's waking people up. When you weaponize the dollar and tell people who can and can't use it, people wake up to the realization that, hey, could it be me next? And they're looking for alternatives. You throw into the mix record inflation where 80% of every dollar that's in existence has been created in the last 2 years. This is why we have inflation. And it's not just here in the States. You're seeing it all around the globe, and people are waking up. So what used to be a situation where the U.S. had to have been the majority of the sovereign mint coin sales, you're competing with people all around the world right now who are freaking out and waking up to inflation, to tyrannical governments, to geopolitical problems, and to a shift away from the U.S. dollar hegemony, which is something we've been talking about on this show together for a long time. And especially when you see that gold was classified tier 1, the people are waking up and moving away, which is creating more and more and more demand for what little supply is out there.